So friends, namaste and welcome to the 90th class of the Bhagavad Gita. We are studying, which is a very, very sweet chapter, but it is a chapter which also has many guidelines. In this chapter, multiple times Krishna says to Arjuna that such a devotee is dear to me and such a devotee is dear to me and such a devotee is dear to me. And of course, we should be all ears to hear what Krishna is saying because we want to be one of those devotees who is dear to Krishna, isn't it? So just revising a couple of few shlokas that we were doing in our last class, then we will create a continuum today. So in shloka number 8 to 11, Krishna was instructing Arjuna. He said that a devotee should try to give his intellect and mind to me and stay united to me all the time. And if a devotee is not able to do such a thing, then in shloka number 9, he says, then such a devotee should then do yoga abhyas, means you should practice your techniques of meditation, and not only meditation, in your day-to-day activities, you should be performing karma yoga. In your love of the heart, you should be having bhakti yoga. In your intelligence and discrimination, you should be practicing jnana yoga. Means by practicing yoga throughout your day and in your meditation, and by practicing it over and over again, you will come to a point where you will be then able to give your mind and intellect to Krishna, and where you will be able to immerse your consciousness with Krishna's consciousness all the time. But then he gives further concession. In shloka number 10, Krishna says to Arjuna, if you are not able to do even yoga abhyas or regular practice of meditation, then you should start to act in my name, that you should act on my behalf. And we discussed how it means of thinking of God while we are acting, thinking of God before we initiate action, and thanking him after we finish our actions. And then he goes on so beautifully and lovingly to, in shloka number 11, he says, if you cannot even do that, if you cannot think of me all the time throughout your work, then if you just renounce the fruits of your action, then also you will come to me. And so here is a beautiful transition happening, step down, one step at a time. And we would want to step up ourselves. So if nothing at all we can do, we can renounce the fruits of our action. And here we discussed how and why it is so important to renounce the fruit of action, is because when we are thinking of a fruit of action, we are saying, I want this or I want that. And all the three words in this statement are a delusion. They will cause bondage. The first word is I, that means I as a self exist as an ego. That itself is a delusion. The second thing is a wanting, means there is a desire. Desire is again going to tie you up in karmic bondage and more delusion. And the third is this or that, means a particular thing which you may be attached to. So this again depicts some level of attachment, some level of clinging and craving. So again, that is going to bind you, and you will land up more and more in delusion. So Krishna says, if you want to be free, and if you are free, if you are a Jivan Mukta, you are anyway united to me. And if you want that situation, then you must renounce the fruits of action. And then in shloka number 12, then he says that better than any mechanical practice of anything, it is better to have knowledge of what you are doing. Then, so you need to have some theoretical knowledge at least. Then he says, better than theoretical knowledge is to actually meditate. So not just talking about meditation, not just hearing about meditation, and not having just read that, oh, meditation is a good thing, it gives you peace, it takes you close to God, it gives you an inner, silence and so on. It's not enough to read about it. You have to then practice meditation. It simply means, like if you go to a doctor gives you a prescription, and if you just hang the prescription on the wall of your room, but you don't take the medications and you don't follow what the doctor has said, nothing is going to change. So similarly, just by knowing it's not going to happen, you have to practice the techniques of meditation. And then finally he says in shloka number 12 that better than initial stages of meditation is the renouncing of the fruits of action. Again, the fruits of action have come into place. And let us also see the scientific aspect of it. In modern day science, enough number of studies have now been done by doctors, by neuroscientists, by psychologists, and so many other happiness specialists, which say, so there was a particular study done on Olympic athletes and people who were going to go into Olympics. And one of the persons who actually wrote a book later, he said that I prepared for like 4 years. I was preparing for my, game, first national level and then later. So he just came to the national level. He said, 4 years I tried and I tried and I tried. And then I won the national championship. And you know how long my happiness lasted after that? 4 hours. So this is the difference. We are made in such a way that striving gives us more happiness than the actual result. And Krishna wants us to be free and he wants us to be happy. So what would be the formula? If our brain is wired in such a way that the striving will give us more happiness than the results, and that is why he is saying don't get stuck with the result. Just act, just put in the effort, because when you put in the effort, what will biochemically happen? Endorphins are released, serotonin is released, dopamine is released, other neurotransmitters which remove pain substances are released. So you have a state of well-being in you. Your biochemistry is such that when you keep acting and selflessly acting without thinking too much of the result, then you will feel more happy in the moment. And that is what current science is telling us. And this is what Krishna told us in the Bhagavad Gita thousands of years ago. It's just that because we have intellectual, mindsets these days, till we have some proof of something, we will not believe. Just come to your own experience. You don't need any books. You don't need anybody to say anything. Just go back to your own life. And if you look back into your life, and there were certain phases where you were giving exams or you were achieving something, you will actually remember the struggle during the exam, or if there was a difficulty, you will remember that more clearly than actually finally having won a trophy or won a medal or, got a degree or got a job. The striving is definitely more enjoyable than the result itself. And that is why if we are happy right now, so if I'm happy in the striving, what happens is happiness is a higher chakra virtue. When you are happy, you are automatically living through your higher chakras. And when you are living through your higher chakras, that means you are more satisfied, you are more contented. Then two things are happening. One is that you will draw to yourself, you will magnetize only higher chakra things to yourself. And from here, of course, the negative magnetism of the lower chakra, you won't need too much of sensuality to please or make yourself comfortable. If you are contented and happy without getting a conditioned cause for your happiness, then you will like to stay in that zone. So some people will say, okay, let me do this, and then I will be happy. Now, this is false way of thinking. Raise your level of energy and consciousness. Be happy first. And when you are happy, then your frequency is such that it is going to attract and magnetize all higher frequency things. You will feel more abundant when you are happy. It's very interesting. So start working on happiness right now. Don't keep on looking for causes for happiness. Don't postpone happiness. Don't think it will come at some future moment when some future goal is met. This is a delusion. You are made of the substance of bliss, of happiness. Recognize that. Unveil that by your meditation. Be happy now and everything else will fall into place, because eventually moksha is going to be pure bliss. So why can't we practice being happy right now? Why do we have to condition it? These are questions we must ask ourselves. And the scripture is definitely pointing out to the higher truth, and we must subtly understand how and why things are working this way. Okay. So let us now go into shloka number 13 and 14. From shloka number 13 onwards, Krishna starts pointing out the qualities which make a devotee dear to him. There is a total number of 41 actually qualities from shlokas 13 to 19. And then in every end of every shloka, he says, such a person is dear to me. And then in shloka number 20, he finishes, and that is the last shloka of the chapter. And there he says, this devotee is extremely dear to me, atyanta priya. So we all want to be atyanta priya, very, very close to Krishna. So now, what is our homework and how do we take in these qualities? These qualities are the qualities of a siddha, qualities of a sthit pragya, qualities of an enlightened person. So for us who are seekers and aspirants, these become the qualities that we work towards. We may already have some of them, we may be developing the other of them, and of course these qualities can be developed to greater and greater degree, to higher and higher levels. So let's mentally note which are the qualities that we need to work for more, so that we become dear to Krishna. And dear to Krishna means like Krishna, means always in bliss and always in freedom. So I'm going to again put some images on the screen which are pointing out to the qualities. You can refer to those images, and in the background I will also keep talking about them. So just give me a moment. Okay. Yes, so these are the qualities mentioned in shlokas number 13 and 14. Okay, the first quality he says is adveshta sarva bhutanam. So let me read out the shlokas in Sanskrit first. So shloka number 13 says adveshta sarva bhutanam maitre karuna evacha nirmamo nirankara samdukha sukha shami. 14, because they are taken up together. Santushtah satatam yogi yatatma drid nishchaya mayyarpita mano buddhir yo mad bhakta same priya. जो मनुष्य सभी प्राणियों के प्रति घृणा से मुक्त है, सभी के प्रति मित्रवत और दयालु है, मैं मेरा तथा अधिकार की चेतना से रहित है, दुख और सुख में समान है, क्षमाशील है, सदा संतुष्ट है, नियमित योग अभ्यासी है, योग द्वारा निरंतर स्वयं को जानने की तथा ब्रह्म के साथ जोड़ने की चेष्टा कर रहा है, दृढ़ निश्चयी है, मन और बुद्धि को मुझ में समर्पित किए है, वह मेरा भक्त मुझको प्रिय है. He who is free from hatred toward all creatures, is friendly and kind to all, is devoid of the consciousness of I-ness and possessiveness, is even-minded in suffering and joy, forgiving, ever contented, a regular yoga practitioner, constantly trying by yoga to know the self and to unite with spirit, possessed of firm determination, with mind and discrimination surrendered to me, he is my devotee, dear to me. So now let's take each quality separately, starting from adveshta sarva bhutana, means free from hatred towards all beings. So now just take a moment and check within yourself. All beings, this does not say only humans. So are you repulsive towards any animals, repulsive to a particular plant species? If we need to correct all of that, we need to develop a universal love which is inclusive of all beings. This means that such a person has no ill will towards any being. He does not want to harm. Then also this person will see the divine presence in all. Now you may say that how is it possible to not harm anything or anybody, because when we eat, even vegetarians, when we eat, we are going to kill the vegetation in some way or the other. Then how is it that we are, staying away from harm, and how are we actually practicing non-violence? So here, of course, because the human body has been created, the human body is supposed to be highest on the developmental ladder in terms of brain and spinal cord, and it is the only species on the planet which is capable of enlightenment. That means what I'm coming to is that the human body has to be sustained. Now it needs some substances which will cause this a healthy status of life. And we know, of course, the plant kingdom can offer us everything. So there is this lady that I heard of, and in fact this is true for most people who live in villages, who live close to nature, who live in and around forests. So this lady was living around a forest, and then every time she would enter into the forest to get food and fuel, she would actually remove her slippers, bow down to the forest, and say to the forest, "Oh, Mother Nature, I know that by my activities you may be disturbed or you may be hurt. But because I have to sustain myself, I will take from you only as much as I need. This is my promise." So this is the attitude of harmlessness. Here we are honoring our own body, plus we are honoring nature, and we are just taking what we need. So when we do such a thing, when this is our attitude, then we are practicing non-violence, and it is then only that we are considering that that the plant kingdom is part of living nature and it is actually sustaining us. So do we have respect for other creatures or not? Because all is eventually Krishna. We have to come to that realization. So we have to start seeing divine presence in all beings. And here also, of course, humans are part of this whole thing. And even when others are not so kind to us, even when others are in that zone of anger or zone of revenge, we still in our heart, we may behave appropriately on the outside, but in our heart, we have no ill feelings towards them. And in fact, we can progress to a level where our heart can still bless even the people who are actually trying to hurt. And I'm remembering the example of Swami Dayanand Saraswati of Arya Samaj here. It is said that his own cook started to poison his food, and then he was dying, and he realized on his deathbed, or just even before that, that it was his own cook who was trying to kill him. And then just before dying, he took out whatever money he had, and he handed it over to the servant and told him to flee away. He said, if my followers come to know of what you have done, they will kill you. So I want you to just go away. So can we do such a thing? That our murderer, our killer is right in front and we know, can we still forgive? And same is the case with Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi knew much beforehand about his death, and he had once told one of his friends that if someday somebody comes to kill me and is right in front of me, I would like to leave my body by calling on to the name of God. And this is exactly what happened. When those shots were fired at him, he said, Ram, 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 and he left. So can we have such hearts? And why do we have to wait till our time of death to have such a heart? We need to develop that on a daily basis. We have to keep, loving and seeing everybody as a divine presence. And it is true. Our own energy, our own karma has actually brought these energies, and they are here as a reflection of our own inner mind, and they are here to teach us lessons. And these are lessons in love. So it is said that when in a relationship, if it's a fulfilling, good relationship, then you are learning to receive love. If it is a difficult relationship, then you are learning to give love. If there is silence in between, then you are learning patience. And if there is pain in the relationship, then you are learning strength. But this is the truth, that God is our parent. He has given us this life, and He has given us all these relationships so that we can develop, we can evolve, we can go beyond the duality and come into the one universal love of God. Coming to the second quality, which is maitraha, means friendly. So such a person, a devotee, is who has natural goodwill towards all. He relates to others with a warmth and openness. And to such a person, what happens? How does his life transform when he sees everybody as a friend? Life becomes less of a battlefield and more of a shared journey. Now, Swamiji would many times, he says that if you're living in a village of, let's say, 100 people, and if you are a person who is not friendly to people, then you are one and you have 99 enemies or 99 opponents. But if you are a person who has a loving energy and who wants to share, then you have 99 friends. So you have to decide, your own heart has to decide what it wants and how it can turn an enemy into a friend. So our own energy decides actually that whether enemies come to us or friends come to us. And the enemies are also actually there for a lesson. They are there to teach us strength. They are there to teach us patience. And they are also there to make us, go beyond human relationships into that one divine relationship. The third quality Krishna points out is karunaha, or compassion, compassionate. So such a person feels the suffering of others and responds with kindness. He helps to uplift and support others rather than just pity. So pitying is not compassion. Compassion is when you actually are proactive and you really do something to help the other person. Now, that something may not necessarily be, a substantial, a materialistic thing or a money. Just by your being present and offering a listening ear, even that is so beautiful. So just offer your loving kindness to others in the form of your speech, some kind word to somebody that will uplift another person. They may be, fighting their own difficult battles. So a kind word from you will help to bring some loving change in their consciousness. So do whatever is in your capacity, and also try to understand the pain of the other, because all humans eventually are traveling in the same boat. We have similar tragedies and comedies. When pain is pain for everybody, and nobody wants pain. So if we understand that all the human beings on the planet are looking for that same happiness that I am looking for, and this fact unites us all. And if I just understand it, then I will be compassionate about his or her pain, and I will be able to help and uplift the other person. And this is easier understood when we, with meditation, when we feel divinity within ourselves and we understand divinity in others. And also we are able to see, others as extension of our own self. Then we are easily able to develop the quality of compassion. The fourth quality that is mentioned is nirmamaha, means free from mindness. I, me, mine. So this person recognizes, this devotee who is aspiring, who is in love with Krishna, he recognizes that everything belongs to the divine. Now, this is we just say it casually. Now think about it. What is it that truly belongs to you? Does your body belong to you? Have you created your body? No, we have not created our body. We have not created any single atom or electron on the planet. We have rearranged, we have made alloys, we have recombined, we have done that, but we have not created the protein molecules that make our DNA. We have not created the software program that causes one cell to form this complex human being. We are not the ones who are actually, causing the digestive system or the cardiovascular system to run. So what is mine then? If I have created nothing, then what can I call mine? By what right is anything mine? The life that I'm living, the power which is running through this body and mind, even that is not totally in my control. By meditation, I can identify myself as that. But the way that intelligence is controlling this machinery and this world, and I, the little jiva, has no control over it. And therefore, truly speaking, if we truly introspect and contemplate, nothing belongs to us. The money that circulates in the whole world, who created the concept of wealth? And who created abundance? And who is abundance? Have you created Mahalakshmi? Have you created any intelligence in yourself that has the power to earn your money? All the intelligence is borrowed. Nothing the human has is his own creation. It is all borrowed. If this is the truth, then why are we fighting over I, me, mine, and me and you? This is Maya. This is delusion. So a person who is free from this sense of mindness, because he is in sync with the truth, that person is dear to Krishna. So, and when you keep practicing that, when you keep contemplating on these truths, the grip that possessiveness and attachment has on you, that starts to loosen up. But you have to keep introspecting. At the end of each day, you have to look within and see how you have behaved, what are all attitudes you've had, and to understand that, were you possessive today? And did you practice I, me, and mine too much, or did you let go? And also, let's remember one thing. When we came into this life, we came empty-handed. Nothing did we bring. Of course, I'm talking about material things. Of course, we brought past samskaras and vasanas and the life that was created later as a result of those. So, but I'm not talking of subtle things. I'm here talking of material, gross things. We came with nothing. Then why so much of I, me, mine, I, me, mine, and so much of indulgence into, all material things, my land, my property, my house, my bank balance, this thing. We think this will bring us security, which is again a delusion. Because even if you have the biggest of houses, you have your loads of money in the bank, lot of gold, lot of bitcoins, anything you may have, but you don't control your own breath, you may not have the next breath. Then what is the point and the fun of having collected all of these material riches which you so tightly cling to? So release that. Understand and release. Only by knowledge, only by contemplation on truth can you actually come to the right perspective of seeing life, of seeing yourself in terms of this eternity and infinity. And then our appropriate behavior comes in, our right attitudes come in. And with the help of the guru, when we meditate, we are able to free ourselves completely of this delusion of I, me, and mine. Okay. The next quality that is mentioned, quality number 5, is nirankaraha, means free from ego. The false sense of I am the doer diminishes. Not only I am the doer, that I am a separate individual entity, even that will diminish, because we start to understand that there is no separate I. Ramana Maharshi would say that all the thoughts that you think in your mind are related to the I thought. Now, if you were to meditate on the I thought, if you keep repeating, who am I, he said, not even that, he simply said, just keep saying I, and find out what is the root of that I. If you start looking for the source of I in your meditation, you will find that it does not exist. It is like a mirage. So even the separate entity that we think we are, even that is an appearance. It is an illusion. And once we understand that, then automatically we go towards understanding that I am not the doer. Because again, as we said, we have actually created nothing. We are doing nothing. It only appears. It is our own false perception in the mind that makes us think that we are doing so much work. In a previous chapter, Krishna has already said that we are mere instrument. He told to Arjuna, you are nimit matra. All the intelligence belongs to Krishna, all energy that exists belongs to him. And everything is a mixture of intelligence and energy coming together and manifesting something in matter. So if we were wise enough, we would step back and start watching the movie of our own life as a third person, because only then can we realize that actually things are being done through us, but we are not the real doers of things. Because when we say that, I am thinking, even thought does not belong to us. Thoughts are also eternally, they are universally rooted. So it's just by the frequency we have generated in our personality over lifetimes that we draw certain thoughts to us. But even thought originator is not within us. So we must realize this truth, and therefore only then can we get rid of these false ideas of, that I am separate and I am the doer and I am doing so much and I have to do all the work, and one work finishes, I have to do this, I have to do that. Once even Yogananda, once Paramahansa Yoganandaji he's written it somewhere, I'm forgetting where exactly he has mentioned it, that he was complaining to God that, God, one work finishes and you give me another work. And the reply that he got in meditation from God is this: God said to him that I can run universes and be in ecstasy. Can't you run a pinpoint and be in ecstasy? So it is when we start to think that, oh, I have to do, then we suffer. So let's leave that I-ness. Let's become a witness to our lives and see the functioning of our life. And then that can happen only with meditation. Only when you quieten your restless mind can you come to the point where you become witness of the activities of the mind and you do not just flow with it. Okay. So Nirankara means the actions of this person continue, but he has no sense of pride. He has no sense of self-importance. And he realizes his status as a mere instrument, as a channel for the divine, and he starts to cooperate with that divine. Now, mostly we think we are separate from God and we have to think and we have to do. But once you realize that God is the doer, then all you have to do is you have to cooperate with God is trying to do. You have to stop resisting the flow of life, and you will find that your life becomes smoother and easier. And because there is no sense of self-importance, whatever happens, and you are happy with it. Quality number 6, sam dukha sukha. So that means such a person is balanced in joy and in sorrow. And there is a inner stability in such a person that whatever life brings to him, he is able to take it with a calmness. So this does not mean that he has become a stone-like structure or he's become a robotic mechanical thing. No. What Master beautifully explains this particular, quality, says, if there is a billionaire and the billionaire gets $1, then will he be excited about it? No, he won't be excited about it because he's already having all the abundance. So similarly, when a devotee who is united with Krishna or is trying to unite with Krishna and is feeling the bliss of Krishna consciousness, then for him the pleasures of the senses are so petty that they do not add to his happiness, and therefore he is unaffected. And because he is able to manage his excitement and elation, therefore he also is able to manage his low phases, as in melancholy or depression. He doesn't go into extremes of moods. He stays stable. He appropriately responds to the phenomena of life, the changing winds of life. He's able to do that. And then finally, in shloka number 13, the quality that comes as 7 number is kshami, means forgiving. So when you become, more mature, then that the hurts still continue to happen from the world. But you don't cling to the hurt feeling. You are able to allow it to pass. You are able to let go. If you are still clinging, then we must outgrow. So this is a quality that we must each check in our own self. Have we become more forgiving than before? Because of course, it's not going to be an extreme act suddenly that till yesterday you were so hurtful and so revengeful, and then suddenly one day you have forgiven all sins of everybody. This everything has to be practiced little by little, little by little. And forgiveness is such a thing that we actually don't do it for the other. We do it for ourselves. For our own benefit, for our own happiness, for our own peace, we need to just let go. If you don't forgive, what happens? Suppose a person has hurt you in some way. Then all the time, who is occupying, who becomes your tenant in the mind? Your opponent or your enemy. Your so-called enemy becomes a tenant in your mind who does not want to leave. Why? Because you don't want to forgive. So sleeping, waking, eating, drinking, all the time, that person is occupying your mental space. So do you want that? And is that creating happiness in your heart? Not at all. It is bringing out all the same emotions of hurt again and again. So it is for your benefit that you empty that mental space, you remove that tenant, and by forgiving from your heart, you just say, let go. Now, this does not mean that you forget the lesson. So, of course, you remember that the other person behaves like this. This is his nature. So, next time you're dealing with that person is going to change according to common sense and according to your situation. But in your heart, you just let go. That is forgiveness. It's complete acceptance of life as it is, complete acceptance of people as they are, without overthinking too much about them. You just allow it to go. So we are studying this today. So today, at least something in our life we must let go, which we are just clinging, some hurt that we are clinging on to. We must just let it flow with life. We must let it go, because Krishna says he likes the person who is a kshami, who forgives easily. So here two things are coming to my mind. One is that even in the Bible, Jesus has advised us to forgive multiple times. He says, when a disciple asked him that, my brother is doing wrong towards me, what should I do? Jesus says, forgive him. Then he says, what if he wrongs me 7 times? Jesus says, forgive him 7 times. And then he goes on to say, forgive him 70 times 7. So forgive him as many times as is possible. He himself said on the cross, forgive them, for they know not what they do. So here again, both Krishna is saying that it is good to forgive. Jesus is also saying it is good to forgive. Why are we not forgiving? Both Krishna and Christ want us to be happy and free. And they are giving us the formula to be happy and free. That is forgiveness. But no, because we are living in our egos, I, me, mine. Therefore, I am holding on to my hurt. I am not letting it go. But now I must let it go. And as many times the person errs against you. Now, there's an interesting next step to this. Why does Christ say that you must forgive 70 times 7? Now, the truth of karma is that if any wrongdoing is happening to us, why is this happening? Why is it coming to us? Because somewhere we ourselves have originated it, isn't it? We are the cause of our karmic retribution. So if 70 times 7 my brother is disturbing me, that means I have done this to somebody in my previous lifetimes. That same energy is coming to me. Therefore, instead of Jesus explaining to them the theory of karma, is simply saying forgive, because it is firstly our own energy coming back to us. And secondly, we must understand that if we want to expand ourselves into the consciousness of Krishna, which is all pervasive, then my brother is an extension of my own self. Now, for example, if my own teeth bite my own tongue, or if my own finger goes into my eye and it gets hurt, then who blames who? Do the teeth blame the tongue, or the tongue blames the teeth, or does the eye blame the finger? No, you immediately let it go. Why? Because one of your body parts has hurt another of your body parts. So yes, you go through the pain, but you don't blame anybody. Right? Similarly, the truth is that we are all one consciousness. We appear to have different bodies and personalities. Those also are made of same atoms, but we are standing on the same one earth, breathing the same air, drinking the same water, gathering thoughts from the same ether. We are all united, made by the one common intelligence. So actually, we are different parts of God's body. So then if one body hurts another body, then it should be forgiven just as one part of your body forgives another part of your body. And that is why it is very scientific. It has scientific principles. And of course, it has principles of the heart and the mind all involved. When Jesus and Krishna are saying that you must forgive, then it is our duty then If we want to become happy and free, it is our duty to start forgiving everybody as much as possible. Because not only are they actually giving to us what was our karma, but also they are our own. They are not separate from us. And therefore, we should have that kind of patience and that kind of a love where the way we love ourselves, we should just give that loving kindness to others and keep forgiving them. Okay. So now we come to shloka number 14. The first quality here, that means total number of quality number 8 out of the 41. Here is santushtaha, means contentment. So for a devotee who is aspiring, a quiet satisfaction with what comes with God's will. So this devotee develops this satisfaction. Whatever is coming, I am deeply satisfied and contented. Now again, the debate again, that does this mean that I don't have to be ambitious, and all of that comes into play. We are not going into the debate right now. We've done it multiple times, and of course we know, and God has told us that we should have noble aspirations and ambitions. In fact, Krishna is advising Arjuna to fight the battle and to do certain things, but it is an inner aspect. Now, contentment is inner joy right now. So that is what God is saying, that you focus on that inner joy right now, and then on the outside, you do the duties that are being given to you in this lifetime. Okay. And of course, this also means that we are not talking of laziness. It is not a passive thing. Contentment is not passive. It is an active feeling of inner joy in this moment, in the midst of being able to do all the duties that your life has brought towards you. Okay. Quality number 9. Satatam yogim means constantly united with the divine. So for such a person, he, just like the magnetic compass needle always points towards the north, the needle of attention of this devotee, this yogi, always keeps pointing towards God. Now check with yourself. Are you always focusing on the Lord? Yes, there may be times when you are meditating and you are trying to focus on the Lord. And there may be times when you are, totally engrossed in your work. So doing your work sincerely also means focusing on God in another way. But then there are many times during the day when you are just whiling away your time. You're watching reels, or you're listening to gossip, or you're just going through magazines and doing mundane things. Now, does your mental needle go towards God during those times? It is very important. If we want freedom, why we are here listening to Krishna? Because this is a moksha shastra, because he's telling us how to be free. And if we want to be free, then we might as follow what he's trying to tell us. That means, and Master also used to say that, let the needle of your attention keep coming back to God all the time. Keep your heart and mind united with him as much as is possible for you, and keep increasing it slowly. So whether you are meditating, you are still, or in activity, there is an undercurrent of God remembrance that is all the time happening with you. And this, again, you have to check at the end of each day. You have to check that, was I conscious of God? Or did my thoughts go towards God as I acted? Or was I so lost in the world? And notice the difference between the days you remembered God more versus the days you were forgetful of God. The end of those days will be different, and the next mornings are different. So if you have spent a particular day more in God remembrance, you will find that you're able to sleep better that night, and in the next morning you wake up with a relatively fresher body and mind. So Krishna is only taking us towards our own happiness. If we want to feel happy, alive, and fresh, the more we think of the divine, the more we are going to have these qualities within us. So then he says that life itself. So for a person who's trying to unite with God, life itself becomes a meditation. So as Sri Aurobindo has said, all life is yoga. So there is no point in your day where you need say that I am separate from God, which you are not. We only have to remember we are functioning in this world. This world is created by God. We are created by God. All actions, all duties, all breathing, all power is created by God. All we have to do is remember this truth and bring ourselves to this remembrance again and again through different ways, through thinking of God, through chanting his name, through meditation, through reading books involving the saints. And all of that will take us and bring us back to our own divine nature. Quality number 10. Yatatma, yani self-controls. Okay, so that means normally what happens, the mind and senses of a lay person, of a person who's not in search of God, is completely scattered. But a person who becomes a yogi or an aspiring devotee, he will gather his scattered senses. He will gather his restless mind. He will focus his mind. That is why Master has given us such a beautiful technique of concentration, simple and yet so profound, the Hong Sau technique. This is a technique of concentration. This will gather your senses. This will gather your mind. And because without gathering your own senses and mind, what are you giving to God? If you say, God, I give you my life, but your own mind is not under your control, then what is it actually that you are giving? Nothing. It's false. So first, control your own mind and then offer that controlled mind at the feet of the infinite. A self-controlled person is never dragged out of himself because of impulses, because of these temptations that are spread out in the world. The person can reason with himself, can stay centered in his inner energy and fight out the impulses of the temptations of this world. So again, check yourself. You go to the market, how many times does your heart jump out of your center towards things, towards dresses, towards food items, towards this, towards that? You have a decent enough car, but another car goes by and says, wow, look at this car, it's amazing. And there's this incident from the life of Master where Dr. Lewis and Master were traveling in a car, and there was this very expensive car that just crossed by, and Dr. Lewis was looking at it. Sometimes we look at things with a greedy eye, or sometimes with that sense of wanting to own it. So maybe Dr. Lewis was looking at the car with that thought, and Master warned him. He said, okay, let it pass. I mean, you don't have to look at it with greedy eyes, because it's like a subtle desire is becoming a vritti in you. And then one day you may want to work enough so that you can have that car. So more and more karma entanglement might happen. So yes, there will be attractive things in this world, but if you have already sufficient, you are practicing contentment, then your mind will not keep jumping out from your senses. So actually see, there is an object of the sense, the eye watches the object, it sends the data inside, and the mind jumps out of your body actually towards that object. Mind jumping out of the body means there is a flow of energy and attention going out from your center through your efferent nerves into the world. And this is what a yogi can stop. A self-restrained, a self-controlled person can bring back the running away of the scattered senses and mind back to his center. He knows they are petty pleasures. Just like the billionaire not interested in a dollar, similarly, a person who is self-controlled and connected with the divine, in that bliss has no need for further sensual pleasures of the five senses. Okay. Then quality number 11 in verse number 14. This drid nishchaya, this such a devotee is firm in resolve. So, strong willpower, strong determination, strong steadfastness. All of these are required once we have decided that this is our goal. God realization is our goal. Self-realization is our goal. So, or whatever other noble aspirations you may have, that, this is my goal. Then once I have decided, then I must keep doing something in that direction. Of course, there will be days when you will not be feeling well. There will be days when we fall. There are days, when life pulls you back, tragedies happen in life. So your pace may slow down. But once your direction and goal are set, then you must be determined that whether fast or slow, I am going to go in this direction. And of course, the faster, the better. Because if I want freedom, I might as well put in my sincere effort right now. Otherwise, it can be a matter of more lifetimes. So it is up to you. The amount of yearning you have, the amount of thirst you have, your own energy will decide as to how fast you are going to in the direction of your goal. But fix your direction, fix your goal, and keep moving in that direction with dhrida nishchaya, with firm resolve. And even when doubts arise, on the way doubts do arise, am I worth it? Is the goal worth it? You keep thinking of this, is the direction I'm going the right? Once you have a true guru in your life, all you have to do is follow his footsteps, because he's already marked the path to self-realization for us. So even though doubts will arise, but you will rise above those doubts. It's okay to have constructive doubts. Keep questioning, keep inquiring, keep going further, but just be determined. Then quality number 12, it's Maya Arpita Mano Buddhi. So he has already talked about this in Shloka number 8 as well. But now he is again pointing out that who is dear to him? The one who is able to offer both his mind and intellect to God. So we know that the mind is thoughts and it is managed by the senses. Not managed actually. The reins can be in the hands of the senses. So if the senses are going berserk, the mind will go here and there. So he wants our sense mind to be surrendered to him, and also our thinking mind, our intellectual mind. Why is that? Because we should understand that our intellect is very limited as compared to the intelligence that runs this whole universe. We are not even intellectually aware of how our own nervous system functions. Science has come a long way. Medical science has come a long way. But still, the mystery, I think, we don't even know 1% of what the truth of the whole universe is. And so knowing, understanding that our intellect is very, very limited. Therefore, and because we have no memory of our past karma. So even if we were to apply our intellect, there are certain things which are beyond our limited intellect of one lifetime. And also God himself is beyond intellect. So therefore, it is good to surrender both our mind and intellect. Whatever we understand from whatever common sense we have and whatever knowledge we have gained in this earth, we are supposed to use it. It is an instrument. But know that it is limited, and know that by offering this, you will be able to perform better in this life. And then he says, such a devotee is dear to me. Now we come to shloka number 15. Yasmano dvijate loko, lokano dvijate chaya, harshamarsh bhayo dvegar, mukto ya sachame priya. वह व्यक्ति जो ना संसार को परेशान करता है और ना ही संसार से परेशान होता है, जो उल्लास, ईर्ष्या, आशंका और चिंता से मुक्त है, वह भी मुझे प्रिय है. Okay, so let me put an appropriate image for this. Okay, so a person who does not disturb the world and who cannot be disturbed by the world, who is free from exaltation, from jealousy, from apprehension and worry, he too is dear to me. Okay, quickly we will do the first two qualities that are mentioned because we are running out of time. But these two qualities are very interesting and we must check them in ourselves. The first quality, which is actually the quality number 13, starting from shloka number 13. So the 13th quality that Krishna likes is Yasman no dvijate loko, means one who does not disturb the world. So check with yourself. Do you poke the world? Do you provoke the world? Do you gossip about the world? Do you make fun of the world? Are you so angry in yourself that you make other people fearful? Does your presence make other people fearful? Do your words hurt other people's feelings? It is very, very important to check. So the devotee who does not create unrest by his words, by his actions, and even by his thoughts. So I hope you are not becoming that person, muh mein ram, bagal mein chura, meaning from the outside you are behaving like a nice non-violent person, but from the inside your thoughts are of violence. You are abusing that person in your mind. You're viling your mind is full of revengeful thoughts against that person. So at the level of thought, at the level of speech, a level of action, we should not disturb the world. We should not create tension in the world, irritation in the world, anger in the world, fear in the world. And the presence of such a person should be rather gentle and calming to the others. Now, if you would have read scriptures and if you would have even seen serials, some saints, some sages and some avatars, they say, we give you abhaya dan. So they give the blessing of abhaya dan. Abhaya means fear, abhaya means fearlessness. So they say that we give you fearlessness. So in the presence of that saint, nobody has any kind of fear. The presence of such a person is so soothing, so calming. that people who actually even come with irritable and angry thoughts, even those thoughts get settled. Now, read about Ramana Maharshi, read about Yogananda, read about Ramakrishna Paramahansa, read about Anand Mahima, and so many other saints, Christian saints, so many, Sufi mystics. Anybody who comes in the presence of such a person feels calm, soothed, healed. What is the vibe that other people get from you? Notice it, check it, correct it, and especially work on giving others fearlessness. No animal and no human being should feel afraid of you. Now you may say that I am a boss in an organization. What will happen if my employees don't feel afraid of me? They don't have to be scared. Set a great example. You become that great, hardworking, sincere person, honest person. If you live the teachings, you will automatically inspire the others. So therefore, there is no excuse for being harsh in the world. You must give others fearlessness. You must give others love. So therefore, Krishna points out that such a devotee does not trouble the world. Now, the second quality of Shloka 15, and in all, quality number 14. Lokano dvijjate, who is not disturbed by the world. That means they are not easily shaken by others and not shaken by praise or insult, and they remain inwardly steady, anchored in something deeper. Now ask yourself, if you are complaining even once a day, most people complain all the time. If you are complaining, then that means you are being troubled by the world. I'm not saying that this world has suddenly become such a beautiful heavenly sphere that everything is perfect. No. Whether it is perfect or imperfect, what is your state of mind? You have to perfect your state of mind. You don't have to perfect the world. It is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is only your mind and heart. Is that steady enough? Or every time something happens in the outside world, are you reacting with different emotions? Anger, fear, worry, anxiety, stress, crying, melancholy. What is your state of mind? Are you jumping in and out of emotions all the time and you are blaming it on the world? The world is going to be like this. What are you going to do? You have to make yourself impervious, so stable and calm deep within that you are not affected by the world. You are not troubled by the world. You have to become so strong and stable in yourself. And is this possible without meditation? No, it is not possible without meditation. Is it possible without Guru's grace? No, it is not possible without Guru's grace. You need to draw the grace of God and the Gurus. You need to do your meditation. And of course, you need to do your bhakti, gyan, and karma in place. All of that to draw that grace which makes you stabilized so much in your own center, in your own calmness, that you needn't be worried about the world. So these are qualities. These two qualities of this particular shloka are very important. We must work on these. We must keep checking this and we must keep correcting, evolving. More maturity should keep coming in, and if we are doing this, automatically what will happen? Our happiness increases manyfold. If we are not complaining about the world, if we are not bothered by the world, then we are automatically happy. We are automatically free, isn't it? And this is the mission we are on. And this is what Krishna wants of us. So if we want to be happy, we want to be free, we will try and develop all the qualities that Krishna is trying to teach us. With this thought, we will end today's class. And of course, we'll take up all the remaining qualities one by one in the next few classes. Let us share the blessings and the power that we have received, the centeredness that we have received with all souls everywhere. Let us pray together. Divine Mother, beloved Krishna, Thou art omnipresent. Thou art in all thy children. Manifest thy healing presence in all bodies, all minds, and all souls. Om. 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 Divine Mother, beloved Krishna, great Gurus, May thy love shine forever on the sanctuary of our devotion, and may we be able to awaken thy love in all true hearts. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you, great souls, for joining me in the class.